Hi, I'm Sheilaa Hite, world-class astrologer, tarot master, spellcaster, medium, and all-around magical being. And I'm here today to talk to you about this week's astrology. And this week, from now until the end of August, is going to be pretty intense. And that's putting it mildly. Intense is not necessarily a negative thing, but it is a pickup of energy, and it means that you need to be aware of what's going on, aware of what you're thinking, aware of how you're thinking, aware of what you're feeling, and aware of how you're feeling, because you don't want the energy to run away with you. You want to always be in some kind of being in sync with the energy and in control of how the energy operates. So the thing that we're going to do now is Monday and Tuesday, pretty calm. Wednesday, midweek, is when the energy really begins to rev up. So on Wednesday, we have two things happening. One, as you know, Mercury is retrograde. Mercury is the planet of communication. Mercury is the planet of plans. So Mercury is currently in the sign of Virgo, its own sign. It's one of the signs it rules is Virgo. So there's a lot of methodical thinking, a lot of methodical being, and a way to very detail-oriented way of thinking and being and plotting and planning. Well, Mercury, because it's retrograde, going backwards, is going to go backwards into the sign Leo. Leo is fire. Leo is drama. Leo is wow. So when the mind and wow get together, you can very often have some pretty intense, dramatic moments. You need to be very careful about how you are monitoring your thinking, because not only does Mercury go retrograde on Wednesday into Leo, Mars, the planet of how we take action, and sometimes Mars can be conflict, sometimes Mars can be accidents. Mars, how we take action, comes together, is conjunct, together conjunct with the planet Jupiter, the planet of wow, big, expansive expansion, the planet of luck and blessings as well. So when Mercury retrogrades into Leo on the same day that Mars comes together with Jupiter, be very, very careful. Do not let your mind make decisions that you don't even have the capability of perhaps making come true. In other words, don't let your mind, as it moves back into Leo, order off the menu, the all-you-can-eat menu, because you're going to wind up with, whether it's all-you-can-eat food or all-you-can-eat great ideas or all-you-can-eat great new friends. By the way, new friends, be very careful of new friends during this time. Of great new friends, this is not the time to think that, wow, my ship has come in because look at all I've got. You need to keep it minimal. You need to keep it simple. You need to make sure that you're not being distracted by all the bells and whistles, because there will be a lot of bells and whistles. And the bells and whistles don't necessarily signify anything. So be very careful Wednesday. Midweek is also a good time for you to start preparing for the coming Monday's the coming Monday's full moon. Get your moon water cup out, fill your cup with water. Make sure you cover this cup so that the critters don't get in, and set it where the moon's rays can get to the cup. Now, if you don't have a windowsill that's in direct line of the moon's rays, find a place where if there were a windowsill, the moon's rays would come in. And start now. It's going to be an intense full moon on Monday. You say that's a whole week from now. It's going to be pretty intense. You want to, by Wednesday, start capturing that energy. So, Thursday, frustration. Did I say that loudly enough? Thursday, frustration. The reason I say frustration is because Mars, how we take action, we met Mars before when it met Jupiter and it got really expansive. This time, Mars is going to be meeting Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of hold it, not so fast. Mars is the planet of let's go. So let's go is going to come into conflict with hold it, not so fast. And frustration can indeed show up. You do not need to have your life stopped by the frustration of being stopped by the events of the world and of life. So this is an excellent time. Become aware that obstacles can show up. Become aware that obstacles will show up. Become aware that you do not have to be beholden to anything or anyone at this time. What you need to be beholden to is the truth of the moment. Is this true? Does this work? Am I in the clear? And when I say am I in the clear, I mean am I clear and in the clear about my motives and moving forward? So this coming week, already we know you get, as I said, a 2-day reprieve, and then Wednesday we jump in, and by Thursday, frustration can occur. You can avoid frustration if you understand that pretty much you've gone from a 65 mile an hour zone to a 15 mile per hour zone. In the 15 miles per hour zone, it is what it is. You can't force this. Go the 15 miles per hour. You will see and think and become aware of things you wouldn't have seen or thought of or become aware of if you'd been moving faster. So there is a good use for this Mars square, an abrasive aspect to Saturn. It does not have to end in frustration, but understand that you are now 15 miles per hour, and you're going to be 15 miles per hour for the rest of the week. Then on Sunday, Mercury is still retrograde. It's going to be retrograde until about 5:14 p.m. Eastern Time on August 28th. Mercury will be square. Mercury, remember, intellect, communication, words, will be making an abrasive aspect to the planet Uranus. Uranus is the planet of anything can happen. Oh my God, I didn't know that that could happen. Uranus is the planet of, did you feel that? It felt like an earthquake. Uranus is kind of the planet that pulls the rug out from under you. But you don't have to be a victim to that. If you are paying attention to how you need to operate, you will not let the way you think, Mercury, come into conflict, the square, with Uranus. Anything can happen. The best thing to do is watch your thoughts and watch your mouth, because Mercury is so sure it's right, Uranus is so sure it's right, and they're in conflict, remember. So you don't want to spout off. You want to think through things. Please go back to that frustration you might have felt on Thursday, where you wanted to move forward, but circumstances were not letting you. Go back to that and remember what you learned on that day, to travel at 15 miles per hour. Now then, with your thoughts, Mercury, and your communication, your mouth and your writing, definitely 15 miles per hour. That's, if we do nothing else this week, 15 miles per hour. So review all information that comes to you. Please, definitely it's Mercury retrograde anyway, so please don't sign a contract unless you absolutely have to. And if you absolutely have to, make sure you read over it carefully at least 3 times. And if you can get an expert to read over it with you, that would be phenomenal too. Also on Sunday, we've got the sun, the life force, the ego, coming together. We call that conjunct, coming together with Mercury. The sun overshadows everything, and Mercury thinks. And when you have the sun and Mercury together, you don't often think about whether something is right. You just know with all your being, it's right. It is not necessarily right. Now, you also are dealing with Mercury square Uranus. So anything can happen. And then you know you're right. Please be careful. This is not the time for you to be making statements that you will have to pay for later. This is one of those, don't let your mouth or your mind issue a check that the rest of you can't cash. Trust me, the check needs to clear. So whatever it is that you decide has to be done, it doesn't have to be done quickly, and it probably doesn't have to be done at all. Take your time, 15 miles per hour. This is not the time for the great relationship. This is the time to watch where you go, watch how you go, watch your steps. And that's pretty much it for the week, knowing that, again, we're coming to a full moon on Monday. This coming next Monday, August 19th. And it's going to be the start of a week of a lot of intense energy. So not only the full moon, but we have oppositions to Saturn. We have squares to Uranus. We have a lot going on. So if you can move through this time period at 15 miles per hour, you will be used to going 15 miles per hour next week. And then all of those aspects I mentioned will work in your favor, as opposed to sort of come at you from behind and mug you. It's like you're being mugged, or you're understanding the territory and you're avoiding that conflict. You're being mugged if you're insisting that things go the way you insist they go. You're not going to help yourself unless you say, even though this isn't what I prefer, this is what's going on, let me slow down and observe with my senses, including my eyes. Let me observe everything that's going on. This actually is for a good reason. The frustration is never fun, but it is for a good reason. Slow it down, take your time, breathe. Get massages, that's excellent for you. At a time like this, treat yourself to chocolate. This is an excellent thing to do with all of these frustrations that are coming up, and make yourself happy with the fact that this may not be the way you planned it, but this is the way it is, and this is the best way to get to where you plan to go. 15 miles an hour, chocolate. Have a great week. Bye.